In Vatican City, beneath the solemn arches of the Paul VI Audience Hall, Pope Leo XIV makes his way before thousands of faithful. The gathering is routine, part of his weekly general audience, but the message he carries today is anything but ordinary. Against the backdrop of one of the world's most intractable conflicts, the pontiff issues a plea of rare urgency. With quiet reverence, he takes his seat, offering the sign of the cross as the congregation waits in silence. For months, the war in Gaza has dominated global headlines. Now, from the heart of the Holy See, comes a moral intervention that underscores the gravity of the crisis and the weight of papal diplomacy. The hall is filled with faces, pilgrims, clergy, and ordinary worshippers who have travelled from across the world. Their presence reflects the global stage on which the Vatican speaks. For them, the Pope's words are not abstract appeals, but reminders of faith's responsibility in the face of war. Cameras capture their silence, their prayers, and their anticipation. With measured urgency, Pope Leo XIV turns directly to Gaza. His voice, carried through the hall, mixes both pastoral concern and political clarity. He does not simply call for peace. He lists one by one the violations tearing lives apart. Hostages must be freed, civilians must be protected, aid must flow unhindered, and humanitarian law, so often forgotten in times of war, must be honoured. These words resonate far beyond the walls of the Vatican. They echo in refugee camps, in hospital wards under bombardment, and in diplomatic chambers where ceasefire proposals remain stalled. His choice of language is precise. The Pope speaks of prohibitions, obligations, and rights, a reminder that moral law and international law must walk hand in hand. This is not the first time the Vatican has intervened in the conflict in Gaza, but rarely with such stark demands. Past popes have called for restraint, dialogue, and reconciliation, yet Leo XIV's words reflect the exhaustion of decades of failed peace efforts, compounded by the immediacy of a humanitarian catastrophe. For the Catholic Church, the Holy Land carries deep spiritual resonance. It is where faith was born, where sacred history was lived, and where today's violence desecrates the same soil that millions revere. The Pope's intervention, then, is not only political, but spiritual, a defence of human dignity where sacred and secular lives intertwine. The Pope broadens his appeal by aligning himself with other Christian leaders in Jerusalem. Their joint statement, issued only a day earlier, demanded an end to the spiral of violence. By embracing this message, Leo XIV strengthens ecumenical unity, presenting a united Christian front that cuts across denominational lines. The symbolism is clear. When faith leaders in the very heart of the conflict call for peace, their moral weight cannot be easily dismissed. It is a gesture of solidarity and a warning to those who prolong the war. The Pope's message lands at a time when international diplomacy struggles for traction. Ceasefire negotiations remain fragile, hostage exchanges uncertain, and aid convoys often blocked at border crossings. In this landscape, words may seem powerless, yet the Vatican's statements have historically served as catalysts, reminding global leaders of moral responsibilities when political calculations dominate. The impact is not measured in immediate policy shifts, but in shaping public opinion, encouraging grassroots mobilization, and nudging governments toward concessions. The Pope, by speaking in moral absolutes, reframes the war not as a geopolitical struggle, but as a test of humanity's conscience. Behind every appeal lies the reality of suffering. In Gaza, entire families have been displaced, hospitals run on dwindling supplies, aid workers face peril as they attempt to deliver food and medicine. For many, the Pope's plea is not just symbolic, it is desperately practical. His call for humanitarian law to be fully respected highlights specific abuses, collective punishment, indiscriminate bombings, and forced displacement. These are not distant concepts, but daily realities for civilians trapped in war zones. By naming them explicitly, Leo XIV gives voice to those who cannot speak in diplomatic halls, ensuring that their plight is not erased by political rhetoric. The Vatican wields no armies, commands no sanctions, and signs no treaties. Its influence lies elsewhere, in the moral authority of the papacy, in centuries of tradition, and in the conscience of millions worldwide. When the Pope speaks, his words enter headlines, parliaments, and living rooms. For leaders navigating fragile negotiations, ignoring such appeals can come at the cost of public legitimacy. By invoking both religious solidarity and legal obligations, Leo XIV places pressure on all parties to halt the violence, to release the captives, and to recognise that peace built on justice is not optional, it is imperative. As the general audience concludes, applause rises in the Paul VI Hall. Yet outside the Vatican walls, the echoes of war persist. The Pope departs with his message delivered, but the question remains, will the world listen? His words, a permanent ceasefire be reached, capture both urgency and hope. For Gaza's civilians, for hostages still in captivity, and for aid workers risking their lives, the Pontiff's appeal may be one of the few voices demanding peace, not as a strategy, but as a moral necessity. From Rome, the call has been made. Its answer lies beyond.